All right, bro. All right, bro. All right, bro. You know what it is. I spent 3 months building features that nobody asked for. I added a dashboard. I added filters. I added a settings panel with like 6 different tabs. But I deleted that from my workflow. I didn't actually delete all the features, but I deleted it. You know, no more feature bloat. No more of that. All right. It wasn't an accident, man. It was a lesson. So the best software you use right now, you probably don't think about it at all. It just works. That invisibility is not a design failure. That's the whole point. It's the whole fucking point. Stripe is worth over $50 billion. They process hundreds of billions in payments annually. And you have never thought about Stripe once while using a product powered by Stripe. That's intentional because Stripe's entire design philosophy is built around what their team calls invisible infrastructure. The idea that great tooling should disappear. Users shouldn't interact with the payment layer. They should just complete the transaction. That philosophy is not just aesthetic, it's commercial strategy. So when the infrastructure disappears, the user's attention goes entirely to the outcome they came for. Friction disappears with the user interface. Time to value collapses. And when time to value collapses, the invoice gets paid faster. So for real estate operations specifically, your leasing coordinator does not want to learn new software. Your maintenance dispatcher does not want another dashboard to check every morning. They want the lease flagged, the work order routed, the contractor scheduled invisibly before they had to ask. So the less your team interacts with the tool, the better the tool is doing its job. It's a fact. Here's the problem with features. Every feature you add requires a user to make a decision. Toggle this, configure that, choose between option A and option B. Read the tooltip to understand what you're about to do. So IEEE, IEEE, Spectrum published research specifically on feature bloat as a vulnerability, not just a user experience problem or UX problem, but a trust problem. So every unnecessary toggle is a question the user didn't want to answer in the first place. And every unanswered question is friction. Friction is a reason not to pay. So the product development loop that most founders fall into looks like this. User asks for something, you build it. User doesn't use it, you add another thing to compensate. The complexity compounds, and the core value gets buried under all of the feature bloat. So the real test is not, can users do more with this? The test is, does the outcome arrive faster than before? And one of the sharpest frameworks that I've used is if you can't explain what your product does in one sentence without using the word platform, then you've already overbuilt. Simplicity is not a feature that you add. It's what you have left after you've removed everything, that doesn't directly serve your outcomes. This is where the services model becomes the premium version of software. It's not the workaround. When you deliver a productized service instead of a software license, you remove the entire configuration layer from the client's experience. They don't onboard, they don't learn, they don't watch tutorial videos. The workflow just runs. The outcome lands, and they get to stay in their lane. It's not a limitation. That's literally the product. The client doesn't need to see beat logic. They don't need to understand how the automation is structured, what APIs are connected, or how the data routes from one system to the next. They need to know that on Monday morning, their maintenance queue is organized, their delinquency report is ready, and the contractor who responded is already scheduled. The invisibility is the value proposition. Removing a dashboard from a prototype doesn't mean clients lose access to information. It just means they gain time. The system does the work, and the output just arrives. The human makes decisions on clean data instead of spending 2 hours pulling that data manually. So that's the shift. Shift is from, here's a tool to use versus here's the outcome you actually paid for. So if your operations workflow has 3 steps that could be 1 step, you're not using a product. You're managing software. You're not a software manager. There's a difference, and it costs you every week. If you want to get skip the complexity and you want the outcome instead of the dashboard, DM me. I'll build the invisible version. I'm Kai from Bridgeport. This is the Sovereign Architect. You know what it is. I'm going to see y'all next time.